The story begins during the dark period for Israelites who were oppressed by the Philistines for 40 years. In ancient Israel, in the town of Zorah, there lived a man named Manoah, from the tribe of Dan. Manoah's wife was a barren, and she had no children. One day the angel of the Lord appeared to her and said, "You are barren and childless, but you are going to be pregnant and give birth to a son. Now see to it that you drink no wine or other fermented drink and that you do not eat anything unclean. You will become pregnant, and have a son, whose head is never to be touched by a razor, because the boy is dedicated to God from the womb. He will take the lead in delivering Israel from the hands of the Philistines." Soon after, Manoah's wife gave birth to a son, and they named him Samson. Samson grew up, and became a man, and one day, on his way to Timnah, he had to pass a forest. And when he reached the middle of the forest, Samson encountered a young lion, sitting in the narrow path of the dense and green forest. The fierce lion charged at Samson, as the Spirit of the Lord powerfully came upon him. With his immense strength Samson tore apart the lion with his bare hands. One day, Samson was in a place where the Philistines, his enemies, were planning to attack him. They were very angry with Samson because he had defeated them many times before. This time, they sent a huge army of 1,000 soldiers to capture him. Samson looked around for a weapon, but there was nothing nearby, except for the jawbone of a donkey lying on the ground. He picked it up and, with God's help, used it to fight off the entire Philistine army. One by one, Samson defeated all the 1,000 soldiers with just that simple jawbone. It was an incredible moment that showed how God gave him strength to protect his people. A long time later, he fell in love with a woman in the valley of Sorek whose name was Delilah. The rulers of the Philistines went to her and said, "See if you can lure him into showing you the secret of his great strength, and how we can overpower him so we may tie him up and subdue him. Each one of us will give you 1,100 shekels of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Tell me the secret of your great strength and how you can be tied up and subdued." Samson answered her, "If anyone ties me with 7 fresh bow strings that have not been dried, I'll become as weak as any other man." Then the rulers of the Philistine brought her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried. And she tied him with them, and when Samson woke up, he snapped the bowstrings as easily as a piece of string. Then Delilah said to Samson, "You have made a fool of me, you have lied to me. Come now and tell me how you can be tied up." He replied, "If you weave the 7 braids of my head into the fabric on the loom, and tighten it with the pin, I'll become as weak as any other man." So while he was asleep, Delilah took the 7 braids of his head and wove them into the fabric, and tightened it with the pin. And when Samson awoke from his sleep, he pulled up the pin and the loom with the fabric. Then she said to him, "How can you say I love you, when you won't confide in me? This is the 2nd time, you have made a fool of me." With such nagging, she poured him day after day, until he was sick to death of it. So he told her everything. "No razor has ever been used on my hair, because I have been a Nazirite dedicated to God from my mother's womb. If my head were shaved, my strength would leave me, and I would become as weak as any other man." And while he was asleep in her lap, she called some men and cut his hair. Samson's strength left him. And she gave him to the Philistines. One day, during a celebration for the Philistines in the temple, they brought Samson to the temple to make fun of him. But in there Samson prayed to God, "God, please give me the strength for one last time." Samson was chained between the 2 pillars which held up the temple. The Spirit of God came powerfully upon Samson, and with all his might, he pushed the pillars apart. The whole building came upon crashing down, defeating the Philistines. The message from this story is that true strength derives from God. The story of Samson tells us that God made us for a reason and that we are very special to him.